Hey everybody, it's Erin from Erin Makes, and welcome to the Erin Makes show. This is a crafty talk show where I invite a special guest over each episode where we talk a little bit about the company or the designer. We do a lot of fun crafting and we have a ton of fun. So welcome to the show. So today I have with me Ashley from Artistprix. What? Hello, girl.
Hello, Erin. Hello, everybody. Forgive me. I'm just going to share this to our this amazing craft talk show to our Facebook page really quick.
Share away. And if you're watching and you would like to share the show, that would be fantastic too. So today we are talking all things sublimation. If you guys do not know what Artistprix is, it is an amazing company that you can see some of the amazing products behind us. I'm going to say the word amazing a lot today because it really, truly is. You can take anything, almost any surface, as long as it has a poly coating on it, so polyester shirt or different kinds of things. And there's examples of some of these, including this really cool pillow. And you could put your own artwork on it with their sublimation. And there's 3 different ways to do it. They have pens, they have inks, and they have paint. And today we're going to be playing with all of their colored inks. So do you want to tell us a little bit more, because I kind of gave a very brief overview, and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Artistprix?
Sure. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Ashley, and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for Artistry. We are the makers of Iron-On Ink, which is how we tell people about our sublimation line of arts and craft supplies. So the whole idea of Artistry is to give you the ability as crafters and makers to experience the magic of sublimation without a fancy printer. So you might be saying to yourself, what is sublimation? I'm going to nerd out on here for 30 seconds, so bear with me. It's when something goes from a solid to a gas, skipping the liquid phase. You think about an ice cube, you put it in the sun, it goes from a solid to a liquid, and then it evaporates into a gas. So when we design on the paper, it's a solid, and then with heat and pressure, it's going to turn into a gas and bind back into a solid, into that compatible blank that Erin was just talking about. And the big deal about sublimation is that it's lifetime permanent. It will not crack, it will not fade, it will not peel. It becomes one with the object. It is literally a chemical process that takes place, and that's what makes sublimation so different than any other level of personalization. So as Erin mentioned, we have a full line of arts and craft supplies. We have markers, we have stamp pads and ink refills. We just came out with acrylic sublimation paint, which is really cool. And then we want to make sure that you have everything you need to successfully do a project and take all of those things that you have in your makerspace, like your gel press plate, your stencils, your stamps. We want to make sure that you're able to take all of that and reuse it for sublimation. So we have blanks, we have heat tape, and all the things and supplies that we'll be using for some projects today on our website.
Sorry, I got to flip it over. So, just to kind of show you guys some of the items I have behind me, I'm going to go to full screen on me for a second. So they got sequins, like this is the reversey sequin things. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. We have a blank that was brought out last year and it's coming back again, which is a tie. This is a tie that my daughter made for her father last year. So she did all the art on there. There's coasters. Here's some of the pen colors. And you can see just the wide variety of different blanks that are behind me. So there's all different kinds of, there coasters, there's key tags, there's bookmarks, there's a little bit of everything, shirts, and there is just a ton of fun. So we're going to be playing with some of these products. So let's go a little closer so you can see our beautiful faces. So what are you going to, before I get too far into what we're going to make today, there is a giveaway, and there's a giveaway for watching the show live with me right now. Or us, I should say. And there's also one for watching the replay. So the information about when the winner is going to be announced is down in the information section, but it's at the end of the month. So you have a little bit of time to share and to post and leave a comment on both my YouTube and Facebook channels. So you can get 2 entries in to win. And to enter in, all you need to do, let me stick it up here. There we go. Is where are you watching from? We'd love to know where all of our audience is watching, and just let us know. And don't say your couch or your bed. So for instance, I'm in Austin.
You don't have to give your address, but just let us know your general geographical location.
I am always curious to where everybody in my audience is watching from. I just love, because we have people from all over the world and all over the country, and you never know, you might have a crafty friend that lives in the same city as you, which I think is fantastic. Now that we're all kind of getting out of the house again, we got to find people and like be around them again, because
that's right.
I feel like I've just been stuck in my home with the array of dogs that were dog sitting today. So if you hear barking in the background, I am so sorry. We're puppy sitting. Today's the last day. So there is also, if you're interested, there is, and why wouldn't you be after you see all the amazing stuff? We have a coupon code for 10% off anything in the store for Artistry, and just use the code Sublimation for your 10% off. So we're going to be playing around with a couple of different things. I'll put the code back up, but it's down in the information section in case you forgot. So what are you going to make today?
So as Erin mentioned when she pointed out that tie, we have a program called the Blank of the Month. And so every month we feature a different blank, ranging from a satin necktie to this month's Blank of the Month, which is a star ornament. So gearing up for the patriotic season, as you can see behind me, we're definitely in the season of being patriotic here at Artistry. So we have our lovely double-sided metal ornaments. So they come 2 per pack. Here's an example of a project that I did. I'm going to do something similar today. It's not going to look exactly like this, but something very similar. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. And it's only available for the month of June. And you can get 10% off this set of ornaments with that code Sublimation today.
But what are you going to make with us today? So you're going to use the star, right?
Sorry, I'm going to use the star, and I'm going to use our iron. Sorry. Let's get a little more into detail, Ash. No problem. So I'm actually going to use the gel press plate. I'm also going to use some water. So there's some other things that I'm going to use. I'm also going to use our ink refills. So these are primarily were intended to refill those stamp pads. But you can get super creative with them. Yes, so you don't have to use them just to refill your stamp pad. So I'm going to show you guys what you can do with them. And then I'll also be using the stamp pad. So I have red and blue. Now we have 9 colors total. And then I'll also be using this star stencil and mixed media paper and my heat source.
So I want to show, I did this one off camera, but there is a short/reel coming soon so you can see how this works. But this is the Sequin Pillow. And because we're in summer, I had to do all things summer vibe. So I took the blue and the purple, and the sequin comes, I've stuffed it with a pillow already, but it's really soft on the background. It's super, super soft. I'm going to do it this way because I just feel like you can really see what I'm doing here. So this is like super soft, but it's one of those reversible ones. It is just so cool. I love it. So you guys are going to get a little sneaky peek of what our project is. But all I did, you guys are going to laugh at me, but I didn't, because it's a big pillow. Like, what is the size of that pillow?
16 by 16 inches.
So the biggest sheet of paper I had was a 12 by 12. So I took a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, placed my stencil down, which is this guy right here. It's a beautiful stencil. Inked it with the blue and the purple. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that because we're going to make a t-shirt with the same process. I took a second sheet of paper and I used the heat resistant tape to hold it together, and then shifted my stencil over like right there, and then just continued it. Right. So I could make it a little bit longer with 2 sheets of paper. And then I just heat pressed it twice because my heat press was not big enough just to work on one side. And yes, that is a stencil from Crafters Workshop. Absolutely. The stencils we're working today are both from Crafters Workshop. And this is the funny part. I didn't have just a plain white sheet of paper, but it was white on one side and a color, and it worked fantastic. It didn't matter that it had a color on the other side, and then just copy paper. But yeah, that's what it started out looking like. And then it transferred and it turned into the really cool pillow that you see there. It's
Look
fun.
at the difference of colors. So it's wild. It really, truly is science or magic. You can be the judge of what you want to call it, but it is truly, truly awesome to watch those colors come to life.
They are cool. And the project that I'm going to be doing live with you is this one right here. So I took a pineapple stencil and then I stenciled using the rainbow of colors. And we're going to do the back side of the shirt together. So I did the front side, and look how beautifully that transferred over. So it's just a little rainbow pineapple. We're going to do the back side together. Yay.
Perfect for Pride Month.
I know. That's I was trying to tie in like pineapples and summer and pride and like the whole, like getting it all in there, right? Try to get it. So can you mix and match? For instance, can I only use the inks with the inks, or can I use the markers with the inks or the paints? Can I mix them together, if that makes sense? Can I layer?
You can totally mix and match. You can totally layer. We've seen people take markers and maybe add it to something a little bit that they've done with the paint, you know, maybe fill in a spot that they forgot instead of, you know, trying to mix more paint or something like that. We've seen that done. One of the things that I really enjoy doing is taking a big stamp and using my Misty and using mixed media paper and using my black stamp pad and getting those outlines with the stamp and then painting it in. Love doing that. And then I love that Misty because then you just flip it right back over and then get the black lines. Love that. So to answer your question, you can mix and match all sorts of iron-on ink with each other, whether it's the stamp pads, the markers, or the paint. Anything goes.
So there was a question here. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. So this is one of those, what I call like the mermaid pillows, where they go up and down. I got to go this way. And somebody asked a question, could you go the entire other direction and add it to this side?
You could. It's a really good question. So all sequins are polyester. It's not like ours have like a special coating that's made for sublimation. Whenever you see sequins with the design, it's all sublimation. So we have 3 different colors. For example, we have a black. So of course, I wouldn't say that you would do it with the black sequins, because how would you transfer design to a black sequins? You just wouldn't be able to see it, right? So, but for that white one where it's white and silver, you certainly could. The other one is rose gold. So maybe you could do it with that one. I would maybe say stick to the black ink if you wanted to go ahead and
darker colors.
Yeah, go darker colors on the rose gold. So just keep that in mind. You know, you can't design on black sequins. You won't be able to see anything, but all sequins are polyester. And to answer your question, you could do both sides.
But wouldn't the white paint show up on the black sequins?
No. Good. No. Great question, Erin. Great question. So that is a fantastic question. So there is technically no such thing as white sublimation ink. Okay. So with Artistry, we want all of the rules of what I call traditional sublimation. So when I say the word traditional sublimation, I'm talking about from a fancy printer, right? We want all of those rules to apply to our products as well, because we want you guys to be sublimators and to know the rules of what that means. So there's no such thing as white sublimation ink. So our white paint is actually titled White Acrylic Lightning Medium, because it's sincerely just there to help you make an array of colors with the other paint shades. So anything that's white will not transfer. So I hope I answered that question well.
I think you did a great job. So I had to like take myself on mute. The dogs are like running up and down the stairs, and I didn't want to interrupt your beautiful like commentary on that.
All good. I'm here to explain anytime.
But we can take the white paint. So just going to show you, here are the paints here. They're really cute. And there's a lot of paint in these bottles, but you can take the white paint to shade up or shade, like to go lighter with the color. If you want to go from that darker blue to like a baby blue or so forth. That's the purpose of the white paint, right?
100%. Right. And so then the black, which actually will transfer, because there is such thing as black sublimation ink. So that's black acrylic paint, sublimation paint. That black is also intended to darken those shades. So with all of those colors, you can make an array, and really the possibilities are endless. And we actually have a color chart on the website under the support tab to give you kind of some ideas on how you can start mixing those. I know I need it. But for those who are like maybe come from that painting life, you know, you can take all the things that you've learned in color theory and apply it to mixing those paints right there.
So like blue and yellow, and you get green and so forth.
Yes.
All the fun colors. How to get orange and purples, and then mix those secondary colors together and get beautiful colors. So get back into that, you know, primary color of what you've. But I love that. I love that. It's like it's really kind of tying in the artistic side to something that is what I would call very DIY, wearable and useful. So it's taking your artistic to the everyday, which I think is great, which is
Yes.
fun. And there's so many amazing comments. I just want to shout out to some of the people that are on. We've got Dee and Dawn and Angie and Debbie and Stamp Up the Fun. I love that name. That's awesome. Jody, welcome, welcome. I'm sure I left a few people off. Chandra, welcome, welcome to everybody who's on. All right. So so somebody's made a comment about, I'm loving all this because I didn't want to invest in the sublimation printer. And yes, this is a much more inexpensive version of still getting your artwork out there and ideas out there. And there's some really good ways because you may not like your drawing. So I love stencils for that purpose. And that's what I'm going to be using today. So
and
absolutely.
It's definitely the gateway. You know, I'm not going to say at some point down the road, you might not want a printer because it is the gateway, but it's a great way to dip your feet in the pool of sublimation. Make sure it's something that you want to do because, you know, the only thing that changes in regards to the supplies is the ink when you go from Artistry versus a printer. So you can start with the blanks that we have, the heat tape that we have, and make sure that you realize this is all the things that you're going to need, and you can really like experience it without that high entry cost. It's
Debbie, that's exactly right.
Sorry, we're not sorry.
It is totally that. So we are going, and the other thing is that we are using like a heat press. There's lots of different heat presses out there. And for the most part, for all of these projects that you're seeing here, and including the tie, not for this big guy, I was using my home iron. And it is totally doable. But, you know, I love the idea of sublimation that I finally upgraded. And I've got 2 different heat presses now. And so today I'm going to be using the same one that that she has sitting next to her, which is from Artexprix. So I've got the big bear, I've got the big guy, and she's got the little one. So it is definitely one of those things that you kind of dip your toe in, and you can use your home iron. You can just kind of see if you like it, and you just a couple of ink pads or a couple of paints or a couple of pens just to kind of dip your toe in and see if you like what it is, just with the supplies you already have on hand. So you can use your own stamps with the stamp pads, which I think is phenomenal. That's what we did. I mean, just look at this cutie little guy. Let me flip it over so you guys can see. Look at this cutie little guy. This is a little stamp, and it's just on a little keychain, and it's adorable. And all you're doing is you're doing it on paper, and then you're transferring it over. And so they sell these little cute keychains, and there's wooden ones, and there's metal ones, and obviously all the fabrics that you can do things on. So are we ready to start crafting? Are we ready to have some fun?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So I'm going to give you a little bit of some time. I'm going to get myself prepped here. Looks like you're kind of pretty much prepped. So I'm going to give you full screen so people can see what you're doing while I'm making crinkle noises here that nobody's going to hear.
All right, so I am going to be using a gel press plate. We love working with gel press plates. We think they're a great complement to our products. And I love showing you guys what tools you already have in your maker's toolbox that can be used with iron-on ink. So that is what I'm doing today. So I have a gel press plate. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a background so that way I can add my red stars. Sorry, you can't see. My red stars on top of that. So this one I did a little bit differently. I want to try something to get a different background feel, but it probably ended up looking a little similar. We'll see. And then I'm going to do the other side. So they're double-sided. So I'll go over the do's and don'ts of when doing a double-sided transfer. So that'll be great for you guys to know. And then I'll be doing the blue. I don't know if
there's a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. So Brenda says, I don't know if you said this, but do you have to use sublimation paper? Another great question from Miss Brenda. No, that is one of the beauty of Artistry products is you do not have to use sublimation paper. So save that sublimation paper for when you need it. If you have a printer, just save it for that. You can use regular copy paper. Today I'll be using mixed media paper because I've got a spray bottle and it's probably getting a little wet. So it'll just be a little bit easier to use something a little heavier like mixed media paper. You can use line paper. You can use graph paper. We've seen people use a doily. I mean, when I say any paper goes, I mean anything but sublimation paper, which I know that sounds strange because it's Sublimation Arts and Crafts Surprise products, but that's also a good thing because, you know, that does, you know, sublimation paper doesn't necessarily grow on trees as opposed to regular copy paper that you might already have in your craft room. So that's a bonus of working with our products.
And one of the things I've also found is that especially if like, this is what I love is that I can give my kids a piece of paper and I can give them the products or the pens or the paints. They can do their art and they could do more than one. And then they could decide this is the one that I want to actually press. So you're not having to waste the blanks to decide what is going to, like, you get to pick the artwork. If it didn't work out, you messed it up, you mussed it up. It's paper and a little bit of ink. Ooh, you know,
Right.
versus doing it directly onto the blank itself. And then you mess that up. It's like, oh, I just wasted all that money. No, you just wasted some paper and some ink. Ooh.
Yes. And there's no rules about when you have to transfer. So let's say that they have two and it's a tough decision on which one they want to apply the blank to. Go ahead and pick their favorite out of the two and then just stash the second one away. And then next time they want to do something, maybe they're not, you know, into designing that day, you've already got a design ready to go.
And you said that you've kept a couple that it was like a couple of years down the line before you even went through and heated it up to sublimate it. And it still worked absolutely fine, which it blows my mind, but I think that's so cool. But it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, the ink's not going anywhere and you're heating it up to transfer it. So obviously that makes sense.
Yes.
So since I'm going to be working on a t-shirt, is there any rules or anything I need to know about in terms of washing the shirt before?
You don't
like let it sit for so long or anything like that?
You don't need to pre-wash your shirts. I know sometimes with other forms of personalization, you do need to pre-wash your shirts, but with Artistry, you don't. There are two things you want to do before you transfer, which is lint roll. And that's just because you might not know, but there could be like some dust particles hiding that you don't necessarily want to press into your shirt with a hard surface blank, like the metal ornament. Sometimes they just say, just like wipe it off real quick. Lint roller is great for those fabric blanks. And then they also recommend with fabric blanks to pre-press, which just means you just give it a little touch with heat beforehand. And that is so you wick out any moisture, and it's a great way to get out the wrinkles too.
All right, I cannot squeeze what I need to do in a very short space. So while she's playing over there and you guys can see what she's doing, I'm going to show you what we're doing over here. So I have a pineapple stencil over top, just a piece of copy paper. I've taped it down to my desk so it doesn't wiggle around. And then I've taped the stencil on top. So nothing just wiggles as we're moving it. And I asked this question before we went live and I found these super, super cute. They're already pre-colored, which I loved it. And it had every color I needed in there. They're just blending brushes. So one thing that I did ask is, do you need blending brushes that are specific for these inks, or can I use the ones I'm already using for like my card making? So all the dye inks and watercolor, all those inks that I already do blending with. And your suggestion was to get blending brushes specifically for these inks. And I found these guys, it had 12 of them. They're really pretty colors on Amazon for like $10. So done. You don't have to have fancy brushes, guys. These work great. And they're color coded. So I was really ecstatic about that.
Yeah, unlike paint brushes where you wash them, I've learned with blending brushes, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I just took a paper towel and kind of wiped them off. So yeah. So I'm going to go and we're going to do a rainbow. So I'm going to start with my red and I'm going to keep the color tone. So I've got each color's got its own, and it's just really simple. And so you have already put some of the ink on the top there of your gel press.
So all I did was I spritzed the gel press with some water, some H2O. Then I took my blue ink refill and I just dabbed a little bit where the biggest like water droplets were. And my first one was pretty dark, so that's not really what I'm going for, but this is a great example of like, I'm definitely using this for another project. I have a pile where I keep these. I'm going to put that aside for next time, but this background looks really great. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for one side of my ornament, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next.
And I'm just ink blending this on, just like you would do if you were doing card making. I mean, so think about all the supplies you already have in your house that you could use with these inks and then create really cool stuff. It looks like a watercolor, somebody's saying. It does.
And everything's water-based.
Looks like a watercolor.
So the stamp pads are water-based. This is water-based. The markers are water-based. Everything's water-based.
And somebody did make a comment earlier. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Oh, somebody said can the paints be watered down a little to spritz on t-shirts like a confetti style look?
I haven't tried that, but I bet they could.
That
I
sounds
bet
like a
they
really cool
could.
idea.
It sounds plausible, you know, just knowing what's in them and how you would do that. That sounds like it would work. So,
It almost sounds like you're kind of getting into like a tie-dyed look with that, without having to do all the muss of the tie-dyeing. That's cool. But again, you wouldn't want to put it directly on the shirt. You want to put it, and this is, we were talking about, I remember I was going back. So there's a bunch of us that do stuff behind the scenes, and she has these amazing videos that she makes for everybody who does content outside of their affiliates or her design team and things like that. And so I went back just to make sure I didn't screw something up before we're doing everything live, and specifically about the pillow, how you wouldn't want to paint directly onto the pillow. You always want to do it on a sheet of paper and then transfer it over, because that's the point. It's sublimating it. You're heating it. So you wouldn't want to take the paint and directly spritz it on your shirt, but you could do it on sheets of paper and then transfer it over.
yes, and there's a few reasons for that. You know, not to have my nerd out moment again, but really the ink is happiest on the paper, and then when the heat hits it, it gets attracted to the polyester. So if it's already on the polyester, we say the molecules could get confused and they could go right and left. And so you might not get that design that you maybe were intending that was originally there. So you kind of get like a sometimes blur, not all the time, but it could happen. Also, blanks don't grow on trees. Okay. You know, so if you mess up, you're not out a whole blank. You're out just that piece of copy paper, like Erin was saying earlier. If you don't like it, like no big deal. Just don't use it. So for best results, always design on the paper and then transfer it to the blank.
Exactly. And just to reiterate, because there's a question again, do you use the same brushes as card making? No, I actually went and got a brand new set of brushes, and these are only going to be my sublimation brushes. So, you know, I got one that had, I think there's like 3 extra ones where I have every color I need in here, because there's also a brown and a black for the inks. And unless you guys come out with new colors, I'm set, which I don't know, you guys coming out with new colors?
We could. It's definitely a possibility. We started with, you know, just the basic 9 colors, but if they do well, you know, they just got released May 1st, so you guys, you know, are seeing it here. You know, Erin did go to Creativation, and that's where we did, you know, show them at Creativation, which was in April, but then they went for sale on May 1st, so we haven't had them out for very long.
It's very new. I love it. I love it. And remember, there is a giveaway going on, and you are going to get a little bundle of some fun stuff to play with just by answering, where are you watching from? And if you'd like to share with a friend, they have a chance to win. That would be awesome too. Oh, I love this. I'm going to make my hubby an iron-on shirt for Father's Day, and it'll have Army stuff on it. That's cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Now, one thing we haven't really touched on is the fact that words, neither one of us are doing anything with words in them, but there is something, and I'm going to leave it to you while I finish blending here to tell us about that.
Sure. So there is, so words do need to be mirrored, but I have a plethora of suggestions on how you can easily create mirrored text words. So the first solution, and I think the easiest, is resorting to your cutting machine. You know, our markers fit in the cutting machines. It just depends on which one you're using. Brother Scan and Cut fits in as is. Silhouette, you know, you need that pen adapter set that comes specific for your Cameo. The Cricut, like Joy, they fit right in there. The other ones, you know, you need like a little bit like a foam pencil grip, you know, just because they make those specifically for their pens. So you just have to MacGyver it a little bit, but we've seen it done so many ways. So that's a great way, because then you can just set that design to mirrored and boom, done. Put that black marker in there, and then you can color it in. You can use your blending brushes however you want. That's one way. If you all those alphabet stencils, just flip them over, right? That's how you can get mirrored text with your alphabet stencils. With your,
or what if it already is a word stencil? Like if it says the word hello on a stencil, do I just flip it over, right?
Just flip it over. It's as easy as that. Now you're probably saying, well, what about all these text stamps that I have? The gel press is a great solution to that. So just use our ink pad, that traditional text stamp, with the gel press, and then put that piece of paper on it, and then you'll get that mirrored text on that piece of paper.
But you guys have some stamps as well that are already flipped the other way, right?
Correct. So we made a set of sublimation stamps, which are a set of non-mirrored stamps because all stamps are really mirrored. So then that way on the paper they read correctly. So we made a set of non-mirrored stamps. And they just have some fun sayings. So that's another option. And you get 10% off those today as well.
And then this is an example of the alphabet. So if you don't have a set of alphabet stencils, like to do each and every letter, this is another way that you could do that as well. And blending with the ink is so easy, as you just saw with this. So that way you can do any color you want. You just do them one at a time.
Yes. And then my favorite way, which is like no tools required, is to take a thin Sharpie, because thin Sharpie does not transfer, write normally, and then just flip that piece of paper over and trace. That's my favorite.
I've tried that, and my handwriting doing it that way is just awful. I'm going to show you how bad. I have an example. This is me trying to do it, and then I'm going to do the big reveal on this thing. But this is me trying to, like, I wrote it with my hand. I flipped the paper over, and I used their markers because they have a beautiful selection of all these awesome markers. And yeah, it looks like a kindergartner tried to like do cursive for the first time in their life.
I mean, cursive is tough. Cursive is tough. I would admit that. Trying to do that back. But if you
I would not do cursive.
yeah, maybe not do cursive. But if you have just print text, or something else that I really like doing is printing off something off of Word and just using
and then just flip your paper over.
So, all right, just quickly an update. So I have two designs, one red, one blue, and then I'm going to take my star stencil. I'm going to use some washi tape and then just kind of do what Erin's doing with the opposite color. So this is a blue background, so I'm going to use my red stamp pad.
All right, so I'm going to do the big reveal here. So we ready? We're ready. I'm going to flip this camera over. Here's the big reveal. Da, 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 da. Ta-da! It, like somebody was saying, it looked pretty without even putting it on the shirt yet. It looks awesome. It looks awesome. So you're still got a couple things to do. Actually, while we're doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do another quickie project with another stencil. But this time I'm going to, so when I heat press, I can just heat two things at one time. So there's a lot of ways that you can do it. You could obviously do singular projects, but you could also, like we said, you can make all your projects ahead of time on paper, and then you can go in and just heat press them all at the same time. So for instance, like with a Girl Scout troop, or if you've got a bunch of kids that are doing something and maybe you're doing something for a group or like a church class or whatever, the kids can all make their thing and then you can take it home and you can press them individually or just do it off to the side, because you don't want kids to be messing with a really hot heat press because they get up to like 350, 400 degrees, which is about the range you're working with. Most things, do you have a place where the people can find out what to heat press for each material, the time and the temperature and all that stuff?
We sure do. So you can find the short version on the product page on our website. So if you go to the product page, like for the for like a t-shirt, for example, you're going to have the transfer specifications right there, as well as the dimensions of the shirts if you wanted to go ahead and get one, which is always nice. But if you're looking for more step-by-step directions, like trace your blank, how to make your sublimation sandwich, which the step we're both going to get to in a little bit, we have directions under the support tab. So you just go support tab, directions, and then you're like, I'm going to make a shirt. And then you just click the shirt, or I'm going to do an ornament. And you just click the ornament. It's really easy.
Very cool. And it's probably written on the packaging too, is my guess, right?
Yes, and we also have like a card that we put in your order that says directions are specific to the blank, and we have a little QR code.
Oh, everybody's loving the pineapple. Thank you. Well, we're going to do a little turtle scenario right now. So we're going to have some fun with turtles. Let me get some more ink tape down here. And this one is going to go on a little pouch. And I thought maybe my daughter could take it. I think my daughter's going to take the pineapple shirt. It's actually a little bit too big for her, but she'll grow into it. So it'll be fine. We're trying to find shirts that are light in color, but fun, because she's going to summer camp in a week. And white shirts are really good for that. So not black shirts or dark navy, and she seems to have a very big plethora of those colors. Go figure.
And we have toddler size shirts, we have baby onesies, we have adult shirts, and we have youth shirts.
Oh, yeah. So I have the youth extra large. That's the one that we're playing with today. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of green, and I think we're going to add some yellow in here. Whoops. This is why having like the colors to match. It's so nice having a color. It makes it really easy. It's so easy to find the colors I need. And I also pulled out, because I knew just in case, and I did this for the Sequin Pillow behind me, if I needed to do just a little bit of something, I've got some Q-tips here. So I just wanted to kind of get into this little spot, but I don't want to get into that bubble, because the bubble I want to make blue. So I can use a Q-tip to transfer it over in case my brush is too big.
So I'm trying to figure out where on here I want to do my star ornament. So I'm just deciding where I'm gonna blend my my blue star. So here's my blue background with my red stars. Wait till you guys see the difference in the red. It's very exciting. And so now I'm gonna do the opposite with the other colors.
So just like with the Sequin Pillow, can I take my same star ornament that you have right there? Could I do both sides of it, or can I only do one side of the ornament?
Both sides, both sides. And some of our blanks are single-sided, like coasters are single-sided, bookmarks are single-sided, and then some things are double-sided. So you'll know one, because it's on the product page. We'll let you know whether it's double-sided or single-sided, because we certainly want you to know if it's double-sided, because bonus, you get two sides. So that would be the best way, that best spot to check that out and see is if it's one-sided or two-sided would be on the product page.
All right, what color is a turtle? It's green, right? It's green and brown?
Yeah, green and brown, a little yellow, maybe.
I don't know if I'm going to go completely to the colors that they say, but you know, we're gonna make them fun. Maybe we'll make some purple ones. Purple and green. That sounds fun, doesn't it?
That sounds very pretty.
Purple. Nothing says I have to be super realistic with it, right? I can go whatever direction I want. We're going to make fun color turtles. We're going to make multicolor turtles. We're going to have each turtle be a different color. How about that? Rainbow of turtles. We got a purple turtle. And then we're going to do a pink turtle. So what would you guys like to make? If you had your choice of like an object to sublimate on, what would be your pick? I know you guys got some great ideas. I'm always curious as to like, ooh, what would be a fun thing to sublimate on? Now that you see that you can just use pretty much anything, and we're just playing with mostly inks today, but you can obviously do a ton of different things. So what would you guys like? What would you sublimate on if you had your choice?
I say if there is a regular version of it in real life, then somebody has made a sublimation version of it. And when I say that, I'm talking about like hard surface blanks. But like these two aprons that you see behind me, I got these at the dollar spot in Target. So sometimes it just takes just checking the tags. They're both 100% polyester. So since this one's red, I stuck with black stars. You probably can't see too much of the details right here, but this is all like a bunch of black stars, right? And since this one's lighter, we were able to do like blue and red and black.
Does it have to be 100% polyester, or could it be like a blend?
It can be a blend, but whatever percentage that's polyester, that's the amount of fabric that will hold on to the ink for a lifetime. So if it's like so if it's like a 60-40 blend, it will like look more vintage since 40% of that fabric just let the ink go.
Got it. Doing t-shirts and pillows. You love to make pillows. Yeah. I mean, there is so many amazing pillows that you guys can get. Look at that. So we got our little family of turtles.
They're so pretty.
They're fun. I don't know if you guys can hear the dogs just barking their heads off outside. I'm sorry about that. Stupid dogs. And I made some boo-boos down here at the bottom, and I do not want to transfer them. If you guys can see, I got a little bit of ink off to the side here and a little bit kind of at the bottom. So the easiest way to fix that, to make sure it doesn't get transferred, is just cut that part off.
Yep.
You don't want it, get rid of it.
Yep. Or you can always put a piece of heat tape over it. Like if it's in the middle of your design.
Oh, like if it was like right in here and I couldn't cut that out. Got it.
You can put a piece of heat tape over it because it's heat resistant tape. And so it'll resist the heat and it won't transfer.
So just to get this started, I know you're not quite there yet, but you're getting close. We're going to talk, what is this black pad thing I have right here?
So that is the Artistry Project Mat. So it's essentially, we took the mat that's in the heat press right here, and we brought it out. So then that way you could essentially turn your home iron into a heat press situation, because we're not going to go like this. Like as Erin mentioned, when she maybe did that tie with her home iron, she individually transferred each design at a time. So your ironing board is meant for this motion, right? So we want to give you guys the professional level tools in craft form. So we made the Artistry Project Mat, which is 100% silicone. So that way you can hold that stationary at 400 degrees for 90 seconds, and you're not going to see any burn marks or anything like that. And it's going to protect your work surface.
Would it still work with the other heat presses that, like, maybe you just want a nice smaller surface versus the big ones? I mean, I've got the big mat that it comes with too. Does it, having the softer surface versus the harder surface, make a difference?
We do feel that like the harder surface,
I mean, versus like the mat that comes with the presses.
Right. Well, so a lot of those were designed for heat transfer vinyl, which is like 310 degrees, maybe for 10 or 15 seconds. Also, since it's not black, you might like see some ink maybe, or some hiccups from the heat, right? That can always happen with those. Another reason we like it is because it'll stay stationary on your work.
It won't wiggle around on you.
Yes, because we need everything to stay really stationary, because we don't want there to be any ghosting or shifting. So that's one of the other reasons we love the Project Mat, because it just, it just has a lot of great characteristics. We just want your sublimation project to be chef's kiss, flawless. So that's why we came up with the Project Mat.
So you've talked about the Sublimation Sandwich. So let's go through, and since I've got this kind of out here, we're going to do a quickie version with the turtles that I made. Let's put this on full screen so people can see that sandwich. And then that we were repeating it. It's not a big deal. Okay, so here we have our mat. And then to make sure we don't get anything transferred, you say always put a sheet of, and this is not wax paper or parchment paper. This is your heat transfer paper.
Yes, that is
transfer paper.
It's protective paper.
Protective paper, that's the word.
It's protecting our work surface. It's protecting our iron. So essentially, when talking about that design going into a gas, we don't want that gaseous color to get on anything. So, and again, we want you guys to feel like professionals. So siliconized paper is what the professionals use. So we have that available in a roll. If there's no ink on it, you can reuse it. That's the best part. Parchment paper is a good option because it's made for heat, right? You guys use that all the time, but you can only use it once. And so it's a good, better, best situation. So, parchment paper is a better option. The best option, though, is protective siliconized paper from Artistry.
So the next question I have is, because this is a two-surface project, kind of like my t-shirt, I don't want my ink, because we're going to be placing the paper on top of this, right? So we're going to be placing the image that I stenciled with the ink on top of that. Would I want to put a piece of protective paper in the middle of this just to be careful?
That's another great question. So something I've learned doing sublimation is not all blanks are created equal. So I will tell you that our poly canvas zip case is very high quality. You can actually see that there's a liner on the inside. So when it comes to our canvas zip case, and I can't say this to anybody else, you actually do not need to put something in between. Okay.
Sweet.
But
I'm not going to.
Yeah, if you find another polyester zip case like on Amazon or something like that, or at the dollar spot at Target, I would highly recommend putting a piece in between, so that way your design does not transfer to the other side. You also definitely want to do that when you do like a t-shirt or something like that. Those sequin pillows, going back to that, those sequins are so thick that it wouldn't go through to the other side.
Okay. I didn't put one in the pillow. I just heat pressed. I didn't put something inside.
Okay,
all right. So now we've got our protective paper. We've got our surface. Most of the time, especially coming from you guys, you should be fine. You shouldn't have to put an insert in. But for the t-shirt, I did, just to be safe. Because I felt like it was thinner. Yeah. And then I'm going to take my image and image ink side down, not ink side up. Correct?
Correct. When you're doing your sandwich, that's definitely the way to do it. I do find though it easier to put the design. So I don't know if you can go back to me for a second. I
Yep.
find it easier when taping to put your design like this and then take your blank and put it on there. But I could see why, because of the next step, why you might want to do it that way, because then they don't have to remember to flip it over. So it just depends. It just depends. But
It's a personal preference. I mean, it doesn't matter. I could go like, yeah, because then, but I'm also like, okay, where do I want to see? I feel like I've got enough of an image I can see through my paper. Like I can see it, that I can tell where it's at because it inked through and it blended through. So I feel like I'm good. I feel like this, like the ink's got some really good coverage. Like I pull it off and I still feel like there's a really good, almost like I could do a second press out of it.
Sometimes you
so
can.
Is that possible?
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's what do they call that? Second generation. That second generation will definitely be lighter than the first.
So if you're looking for a muted version of that. Okay, so what is this special tape that we are using? And I put mine in my tape dispenser because you can.
Yay. Yes, that is heat resistant tape. So we definitely want to keep our project very still while just especially during the transfer process, because we want that ink to go exactly where we want. So when using a handheld press like Erin and myself are going to do today, be very generous with your tape. Really, as long as you're not, and Erin did a great job. You notice that she didn't go over the design. She went around the design because otherwise she would have.
I might have a little bit right there.
Yeah, you don't want to cover up your design because it's heat resistant tape. So you don't want it to resist that transfer. So you definitely want to go around your blank and not over, around your design and not over it. But feel free to add a little bit more maybe in the corners because you just don't want there to be any shifting or anything like that.
I had another one that I'd already pulled off, so we'll do that. Now, am I ready to press now, or should I do another layer of paper?
You do need it. That is the top bun of that sublimation sandwich. Yes, ma'am. You need it because as cute as those turtles are, we want to keep this Craft Express iron nice and pretty, and we don't need the turtles on there to transfer to another project possibly.
So because that could transfer to that press, and then therefore that would get image over and over. And over time, you might get colors. And you're like, I didn't put blue on this, and there's blue on there somewhere.
Exactly.
All right, so I do not have this one. I have the little cheat sheet up on my other screen, but do you happen to remember the temperature and the time for this off the top of your head?
I think it's 45 seconds at 400, but maybe do it for 60. It's not going to hurt it just in case.
So is it okay you go a little longer? The best thing is that you don't go too short.
Right, because so here's the thing. All of the time temperatures and pressures that come with our products are really the same. Sorry, this is beeping because it's ready. They are from the printer, right? Those are the printer specifications. So like we're trying to get the freckles on my face or the color of Erin's eyes or something like that. That's when you have to be like super, super specific. But when it comes to craft sublimation, especially since everything's made for high heat, if you add a little bit longer, like 15 seconds or something like that, it's certainly not going to hurt it.
Mine's not quite there. I got to crank it up. I had it at 360. So the t-shirt was a different temperature than what I had. So from what I can tell, looking at the chart, because I'm sneaking a peek, it's 400 for 45 seconds at medium pressure.
I should have
trusted. And the one thing I didn't do is I didn't lint roll mine because I don't have a lint roller. So I'm hoping for the best here.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm ready to make my sublimation sandwich as well. So I've got my star ornament.
I'm going to put you on full screen.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
I've got my star ornament secured to my blank, and it's two-sided, so we're going to do one side at a time. So I'm going to do my bottom bun. Oh, let me cut this down because I can use the small piece for maybe like a bookmark or a keychain later.
So somebody's got themselves a lint roller. I totally forgot to get one.
It's okay. It's like extra. You don't necessarily need it. So I've got my bottom bun, and I'm gonna make sure that I take my project, my secured project, and flip it over, just like how Erin has it, because we want the heat to only have to go through the paper, and we definitely need that bottom piece because look at all of that ink. It has nowhere to go, and I don't want it on my awesome project mat. So you're just gonna put it like that, and then as pretty as my design is, we just need that top bun because we just don't want it on our iron. And then now I'm ready to go. So actually mine is 400 degrees. 400 degrees for 75 seconds. So let me go ahead and change the time.
So mine's beeping at me. I'm going to flip over. We're going to dual screen for a second so you guys can see what's going on. So mine is set to go, and I've set the timer to be for 45 seconds. So I'm going to place this on here, and then I'm just going to hit my little button. And this one vibrates, which I think is so cool. And if you guys can hear that, it's like...
And you can turn that off, actually.
I like it. I don't know, something about it. It's like soothing to my hand. I get a little like hand therapy out of the deal. Oh, Rebecca's on. So Rebecca, just as a little shout out to you, I was ink blending all the projects we were doing today, and just a little shout out. This is her blending. This is her ink blending container. So it's from Make It by Marco, and it fits my ink blending brushes beautifully.
I have mine too.
You have yours back there too. So it'll beep at me. This one took 45 seconds. How long does yours take?
Mine's 75.
So, oh, a little bit longer. So now it's done. It's beeping at me and telling me, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And then I have this little tray that I put it in so I don't get my surfaces all gross and yuck, yuck. How do you get it to stop beeping? Stop beeping.
I always press it again.
Stop. Oh, okay. There it goes. See, it stopped.
So now I can't remember how to turn off the vibration. So I guess I'm going to go for it with the vibration.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good.
You don't want there to be any movement. So that's the reason I get nervous about the vibration. But there's a way to turn it off. I have the manual on the other side of the screen, but it's fine.
Well, I did all my other stuff with it on there and it worked great.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's good.
I never turned mine off. So you always say before you peel off everything and completely like remove everything, you like doing a little sneaky peek to make sure it works.
Yes.
So
before you remove
I'm
anything,
gonna do a little
do a peek test.
Oh, see, look, it didn't get there.
Did you? Okay, you know what? I wasn't watching because I was so busy doing my thing. Did you leave the zipper on the outside?
Yeah, so I just went straight on. So I need to go on the bottom. That's why it wasn't raised. So good. So I mean, oops, but the good thing to know. So be careful. I put the whole thing on top, so I don't need to do that. So this is just a really easy fix.
Yep. So just put Yep. And just put them right up and just snug against that zipper. But then that way it'll be better. We're adding a little bit of firm pressure, mainly to keep everything in place. You don't need to necessarily put any body weight on it, but you do want to add firm pressure. I got 4.
Yeah, I'm not just going to put it on there and walk away. And this isn't hot either. She knows she's touching this part and I'm not. So.
Okay. So I'm going to do my peak test. Now oh my gosh. So the vibration. Okay. So
what did it do?
It moved it like off the thing. It moved it like off.
Oh.
So hold on one second. Cause I'm just going to, I can show you guys. This is what happens when it ghosts. Okay. So it's it's not, I mean, I still think it's kind of cool, but it definitely wasn't what I was intending for. So let me grab my manual real quick and look through it because I want to turn this vibration off.
See, I still feel like I didn't quite get it, but there's no harm in doing it over and over and over. Yeah, I think I might have wiggled a little bit. Maybe so. You tell me how to turn this thing off because I haven't done it yet either. This literally came in the mail the other day. I know. We're going to do this together. I got my manual right here too. It showed up yesterday. I was like, yes, it came. That had to turn off vibration. We're so technical. We're like pulling out manuals here. Vibration pump. Press the power button to enter countdown, then press plus or minus to add the vibration. Okay.
Got it. Down. Did it.
Okay. I think I got it too. Oh, good. It did it. Yay. I turned it off. We're going to try this again because it still didn't quite get there. And I'm going to actually turn this to the side so I can really see if it's there. So instead of me doing it the other way, I've turned my design to the side. But it's okay. Like, this is why you do the check, right?
It's exactly why you do the check. So I'm actually going to pull out a new ornament out of this pack right here and save.
Are you going to use the same paper?
Yes, I'm going to use the same paper. Yep. And then I'm just going to do the other side afterwards.
The only iron in the house is for crafting now. I love that. That's awesome.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do this one more time. At least this side.
So this is why you always check your images, because third time's a charm. And I think I might have I didn't have it lined up just right for the pressure exactly where I needed it, because the zipper is kind of in the way. So, and then for her also, the little vibration kind of shimmied it off of there. So let's see if I got it. Let's see if I got it this time.
I can already tell it looks a little better through that paper, don't you think?
It's looking, the paper's looking browner, which means that it definitely got heated up. So, okay. I think it shimmied, but it's still working. I think it just did a little too much of a shimmy when I first did it.
Yeah, that must be from the first time. Oh, that turned out so cute.
Yeah. But you know what I can do now, because I feel like there's still a lot of ink on here. And also looking at this turtle, it kind of, I think, smushed the turtle a little bit. I'm going to do the other side of this, but I'm just gonna be careful not to touch any of the, and I also didn't pre-press this. So maybe that was part of it too. Oops.
All good. But yeah, that peak test is a project saver, I'll tell you.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do every single time I did this a second time?
Tell me.
I forgot to put my paper back on top.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
We're full of all kinds of fun things of what not to do today.
So if you do forget to put your top bun on,
it's looking good though. I don't see anything on there.
Yeah. And did you use mixed media paper? Is that like not copy paper, or is that straight up?
Oh, it's copy paper. It's totally just copy paper.
If you do have ink on your iron, it's kind of like use your gel press knowledge. Like take a piece of paper and just press it on that paper, and then it'll kind of like eventually just like gas out.
Got it.
Okay. Here we go.
But even if I did, now that I'm putting the copy or the protective paper on there, it won't transfer now because I'm putting that paper there. So yeah. Oops.
That's all right. Oops. No, these are good oops, right? So yeah.
Things that to do.
Yes. And it's a funny, I'll tell you a funny story. So I was at Pinners in March, and Vic handed me this press, and I was doing a demo, and it started vibrating, and it literally, like, talk about straight out of the box. Like, he handed it to me, and my electric started minutes later, and I was up there in front of all these people, and it started vibrating, and I was like, I don't know why it's vibrating, but we're just going to go with it. And actually, my project turned out good. Like you said, sometimes it works out just fine. So.
The Sequin Pillow, it totally is fine. I mean, like, no problems. No issues. And maybe it's because it had already so many, I don't know. But, yeah. Okay, let's check this guy. So now I'm doing the same. Oh, let's flip. Okay, so same, we're both using the same paper again after we've heated it on something else. So this is an idea to see the second impression. So let's do a little corner flip here. Oh yeah, it took it. Yeah, it's not as strikingly dark, I would say.
Right.
But it definitely, like, there's the second one. This is the first one. You can definitely see like how much color. And maybe if I went again and did a second press, but I want to show you guys the shirt too. So I don't need to spend all my time on turtles.
And here's my cool. Press. It actually, I kind of like it. It kind of,
shut up.
Here, let me come up. I'm going to come up closer. I'm going to come up close and personal. Come around.
Oh yeah.
So I'm using heat gloves because this is metal, so it's going to stay much hotter for a little bit longer. Whereas since Erin's using fabric, it's much quicker.
I'm not touching that zipper because that zipper is going to be hot.
That's right. That's right. That zipper is metal. Okay, so let me do the other side quickly, and then I'm going to be done.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my t-shirt ready. So I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. And I'm looking at my protective paper, and I can see a little bit of yellow or something on there. Maybe it's this. So I'm going to start over. I don't want to get anything on my shirt. I don't want to mess it up. So I've got, just to be careful, I've got some protective paper in my shirt. I got to redo the shirt. And because I want to press my shirt, I'm actually going to do the back side from the very beginning. I'm not going to lay and flip like she's doing an ornament, because to get this thing to lay flat and nice twice,
yes,
forget that.
That is definitely an exception to how I usually do it this way.
All right. So there that is. And sorry if you're hearing Sir yaps a lot in the background. My dog is outside and the girls are outside with him. My daughter has a friend over and he just does not like the idea of being outside, even though he can go put his paws in the water and get nice and cool. He doesn't like it. He's a weenie. Now, the one thing I am going to check. So here's my problem. This particular mat is just not quite big enough for my impression. So I'm going to flip to the other mat just because I've got a little bit more. It's just a little bit bigger.
That's definitely a better idea. Yep.
Yeah, because I don't want to come off the page and have to do it a few different times.
Yep.
So
I'm just going to trim
now
this.
I remember looking at the shirt. The shirt temperature was a different
it's a little
temperature.
lower.
So
I think it's 370 for 40 seconds. But
you're right. Yeah.
It's not going to, you can always adjust it, but don't fret. It's honestly, it's just probably going to end up being a little bit brighter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so
I just dropped it down a tiny bit.
Here I go the second time. So I've got my original design. This is definitely a time you definitely want to use your bottom bun, because otherwise this ink could regas onto your bottom work surface. So bottom bun, very important. Flipped it over. I got my paper on top and then my top bun, and I'm ready to repress.
And I'm just doing a quick press before I do it so I get a nice smooth surface and I don't have any issues, because this is the back of my shirt. And I can already tell I've got like little, this is where I wish I had my lint brush, but you try to be as prepared as possible. And I knew there was something in the back of my head that was nagging me, going, there's something I'm missing. And I couldn't remember what the heck it was. But you know what? I think I'm going to go a little higher on here. And I'm going to have to repress this again. I didn't want to be like all the way up into the neck. I want to get more into the main part of the shirt. And I know there's like these shirt guides and stuff. I'm eyeballing it.
I have one, the T-square it. I don't want to say I never use it, but most times I eyeball.
I kind of go like, okay, well, that's where the neck is. I want it about there. And that seems about good to me. So since I have my protective paper inside of my shirt, do you feel like I need to also put it underneath everything, or do you think that kind of covers it?
I think that's good. The only reason that that you would, I guess, do it is to make sure that that other shirt side stays white, because you never know what ink is hiding in your mat.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like,
yeah,
it's just kind of, some might call it overkill, but what's beauty about the protective paper is there's no ink on it. You can reuse it. So sometimes it's just better to go ahead and use it. And then that way, if there is ink on it, good thing you used it. And if there isn't, then you can use it again.
Good call. Yeah, that fits just perfectly. So now I got to repress this now that I got it all. But, it's a nice shirt. It's white, so it's going to show everything. I don't want to have any problems as I'm doing it.
I did my peak test and it looks great. I'm super happy with this side. I'm going to come around just like I did before, and it's really vivid.
Sorry, we're making our pineapple shirt. This is the hardest part. The actual pressing part, it takes 2 seconds. Oh, like 30 seconds. It's making sure everything else is lined up perfectly, because once you've put it on there, it's like done. Oh, look how pretty. I love that.
It turned out great.
That is so fun. Now, could you go back after that once you've put something on and do another layer on top? Like if you wanted to add a word, like in black or something?
You could. I always suggest trying to do it all at once, but if you really wanted to, you could.
Okay. Just in case you're like, oh, it really needs that extra something, and you just didn't do it at that moment.
Or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Just going to iron this puppy out again. I think we're pretty much there. And then we're going to put the pineapple on. Pineapple time. All right. So we ink blended the pineapple earlier in the video if you missed seeing that. So You can always go back and watch the replay. And I think I'm going to shift this just down a teeny weeny bit. I feel like it was too close to the neck. I'm eyeballing this. Is so technical here. This is why we're called the home crafters, right?
DIY.
Totally DIY. Place the image down, and I do not want it to shimmy and shake on me. So I'm going to use that protective paper, and I'm going to do all 4 sides just to really make sure and not cover up my image. So down here at the bottom. And my heat press is big enough that it's going to cover the entire pineapple. So I don't have to do 2 different presses on it, but I will check it to make sure it goes through fine. So you guys saw all the stuff that we're showing. So the shirt, obviously the inks, the protective paper, the heat resistant tape, all of that fun stuff. Everything but the actual heat press.
That's right. And Artexprix is a great company, and they have all sorts of heat sources, and they have other blanks that are compatible with our products too.
Very cool. All right. So everything's on there. I feel like I'm ready to go. Okay. Like this is it. So do you feel like this takes about medium pressure, right?
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you're adding a little bit of pressure to make sure it stays nice and still.
What would you distinguish? Like, how would you know if you're doing light, medium, or heavy pressure with a press like this?
That's a great question. If it's,
she's like, "Why'd you ask me that?"
No. You know what's funny is because I don't have like a formal like answer. So if it's heavy pressure, guess what? I'm on my tippy toes. Okay. I'm like this, right? I'm putting my body weight into it. If it's light pressure, I'm holding it, literally just holding it in place. If it's medium pressure, I'm definitely adding firm pressure, as I've said, and just making sure that it's staying in place. So tippy toes, firm, hold in place. Those are
I love that. I love that. Oh, I think we got a winner. All right, are we ready? Are we ready?
Wow.
Look how cool that is. I love it. And that's just the back side. And because it is, a cloth, it's warm. I will not say that it's not warm, but man, that was like lickety split to get on there. That is so fast and easy. All right. So I got to show you the full, let's get the paper out of there. It's like caught inside. All right. So this is the front of the shirt. Look how cute. Little pineapple in the front. There we go. And then the back of the shirt. Ta-da!
Great placement.
Cute. Thank you. Talk about eyeballing it. I got it straight and everything. I can even like see it through to like know how well I did. So it worked great. I'm happy. My daughter, I might have to keep this for me.
Yeah.
Because it fits. The youth extra large is a big one.
Yeah. Honestly, the youth extra large and the adult small are pretty similar. So if you're going to get the adult small, just get the youth extra large and you'll save some money. So
I am not a youth adult. That would be like on me.
Inside.
I don't have small girls on me. I am. That's why usually on my videos, if you guys ever noticed, like I cut off right about here so you don't see the. I'm not a fan of them.
I'm super happy with my ornament in our projects today. Everything turned out great. And I'm glad we had some bumps along the road because those are great ways for people to learn from things as we go. So that I think that's the beauty of Alive.
Yes. Yeah. You can definitely, you have done this a bajillion times and we still made some oopsies, and I've not done it as anywhere near as much as you, but I've sublimated before and I forgot to put the protective paper down. So, we make mistakes, but can you still fix it and move along? Absolutely. Just keep on going or start the new one. You didn't like that pull, do the next one, whatever works. So don't forget, we're going to do our winner here in a minute. There is a giveaway going on right now. That's been scrolling across the bottom from the very beginning. We've had lots of good answers. I'm going to pick a winner here momentarily. And then also there is a coupon code for everybody. And the coupon code is Sublimation. It's 10% off your entire order over at Artistprix. And the links for Artistprix, for their Facebook, all that stuff is down in the information section. You just have to click on it. So it doesn't matter if you're watching from YouTube or Facebook, it is down below. And if you did not win or you're not the winner for this round, then we are going to be picking a winner later in the month, all the information about when I'm posting that winner is going to be later, is down in the information section. So you still have a chance to win. And it's a really cool bundle of some inks and some blanks and just some really cool stuff. So it gives you a chance to kind of see and dabble into the world of sublimation, which is really cool. So while I'm picking a winner, I'm going to put you on full screen. And I know you have some fun events coming up where people can come and take classes and things. So I'm going to give you the floor real fast so you can mention all of those fun events while I pick our winner.
Yes, so we actually have some awesome affiliates who are hitting the road, and they're going to all sorts of events between now and the end of September. So we have Together We Craft, which is put on by one of our affiliates, and she's great. That's going to be in California. She's the Useless Crafter. So if you're in California and you want to take a class with our products, go ahead and check out the Useless Crafter and get more information on Together We Craft. There's also Applique Getaway. So if you're going to Applique Getaway, take our class with Libby Ashcraft. Shout out to Libby for teaching an awesome class with our products. We also have Everything Embroidery Market, again, taught by Libby. So that is in September, and I believe I don't quote me on where it is, but check that out. Everything Embroidery Market. That's another place you can get crafty with our products. And then I am planning on going to the Sublimation Summit, which is in Peachtree City, Georgia, and that is in September. I'll be teaching hopefully 2 workshops there. So there's quite a few places that you can get crafty in person with our products, which is so much fun. I mean, I love just seeing the people's faces light up during the big reveal because just watching their design go from paper to blank permanently truly is magic. So if you have a chance to get crafty with some of our affiliates at these events, I highly recommend that you check those out.
All right, I'm almost there. I'm just typing in the winner's name. You did a really good job of filling in that gap. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I just realized I misspelled it for like a quick second. I just also realized I forgot to put my Google link. So when I announce your name, give me a couple seconds because I'm pretty sure I forgot to put the link, which is where you're going to put your information. So therefore I can send it off to Ashley so she can get your prize in the mail for you. So just wait with me momentarily. I will announce the winner, and then as soon as we're done with the live, I'll pop it into the bottom of the feed so you can click on it. So.
I forgot one. Crochet Guild America is next month. That's in Louisiana.
You guys are all over. You're everywhere.
And you know what? Our awesome people like Erin, I say it all the time with them. I can't do it without them. So they help me spread the magic. So really, really love that we have you guys to help bring the magic to everybody across America.
Yay. And it is a ton of fun. And it's one of those things that you can get creative with it, as you saw what we did. And we made 3 different kinds. Well, I mean, we have the pillow behind me. Let me just open this up again so you can see. So, I mean, just the pillow, there's shirts. We did the little tote bag, but then there's also ornaments, and the kids can totally get involved with it too. I have an extra shirt here, and my daughter's like, I want to make one. I'm like, okay, well then you do your design, and then I'll have everything set up here and I'll just iron it. And then she's got a shirt, and maybe she's got her friend over with her too. So maybe the 2 of them can design stuff, and then we can press it on the shirt, and they'll have a ton of fun. So it's great for like groups, I think. So.
Yes. And we're doing a wash test right now, like at home. And I'm over like 50 washes. And my husband's like, when is this wash test over? And I was like, TBD, honey. Not yet. And we just have a Post-it note where we tally. So they truly are like lifetime permanent. Yeah. So that artwork that you'll have on there, you'll have it forever.
And it won't bleed across the shirt or transfer to another thing in the wash. Yeah, that's awesome.
I wash it on hot.
It's like when it's on, it's on.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to do it, but I wash it on hot. It's fine.
Yeah. It's all good. It kills everything that is in there, right? All right. So we've bantered enough. Let's get our winner up here so you guys can see. So our winner is Leah. And I'm not going to try to pronounce Leah C. I will post the link to join to put your info in at the bottom as soon as we're done with our live. That was the one other thing I forgot to do before I hit the live button. So sorry about that, everybody. But there's lots of comments. I'm missing all the comments that people are saying. Watching. Oh, I got to scroll back down again. So many amazing comments. And thank you everybody who's on that is watching. Again, if you've not had a chance to dabble into all the world of arts or of sublimation with Artistprix, it is so much fun. It is every time I do it, I'm just like, oh, what did I make? Like how cool is it? You know, and it really is a fun project that now I have a cool pineapple shirt and I have my little, you know, my little dippy with my
so cute.
Which my daughter's gonna take that. So.
And something I forget. So if you don't win, there is a bundle that has everything that you need to get started. It comes with markers and heat tape and blanks and protective paper. So if you're not a winner, you can still be a winner by grabbing one of those bundles. It's heavily discounted. So go ahead and check that out.
And there's a second winner that we're going to be announcing at the end of the month. So leave a comment on both YouTube and Facebook, and I will randomly select one channel. So you double your odds by leaving a comment on both. And we'll be selecting the other winner live later in the month. The date is in the information section. But just to show you, like, here is the protective paper. It comes in a roll. And then all the amazing blanks. And then this is just to show you, these are the re-inkers in the little containers. So like, here's the black re-inker. But I found like the actual ink was super, super juicy. I loved it. Like, I didn't feel like I had to really push hard on my blending brush to get the ink over. Like, it was very, very nice.
that is a common adjective used to describe our stamp pad. So I'll take that as a win. Juicy.
Yay. Juicy. Well, that's what you want. You don't want a dry pad because then it makes it really hard to get the ink from one place to the other, because you want to really coat that ink well. So, and then to get it moved over. So thank you so much, Ashley, for being on and for joining us in the show and showing us all of your amazing products. I can't wait to see what you guys have up your sleeve next, because I know you guys have a whole bunch of things in the background.
We're always working on something.
And I can't wait because it's just so much fun. It's so cool. I mean, the markers are awesome, and now I'm loving the ink pads even more. Everything is just fabulous. So thank you again. Thank you, everybody who has watched. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing day. Anything else you want to mention before we log off?
No, you said it well. Thank you to you. Thank you for having this awesome show. I love coming on and love spreading the magic. And thank you to everybody who's watching and commenting. We really appreciate it.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. And Leah, I will post the link as soon as we're done live here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.